You've also created the front cover that you've embossed in metal. You glued on a construction paper frame. You made a back cover for your notebook. And so now you're going to put the whole thing together. What you're going to need this time is there is a piece of bookbinding. Bookbinding is a cloth or fabric, and the nice thing about a piece of bookbinding is it's stretchable. So when you make a book and you open and close it, it stretches as you open and close. So what you're going to need for this, you will also need one piece of cardboard. These are pre-cut 1/2 inch wide by 9.5 inches long. So we're going to go ahead and glue that into the center. Make sure you glue it on the back of the bookbinding, so the more grayish color area. Don't glue it on the black side, please. All right, I'm going to glue that right in the center. Your bookbinding cloth is cut to be about 2 inches wide. You can make it thinner if you want to. You just have to see how it works with your design. When you go ahead and assemble this, you're going to want to put your front cover on the left-hand side because that's going to be the front cover. So just think about opening and closing the book. And then you'll put your back cover on the right-hand side. Now notice on both my front and back cover cardboards, I have put a paper frame. And this makes it nice. It just makes it a little bit more pro looking when you're all finished. When I glue it down, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap. So don't rush this step where you're gluing it down because you want to make sure that this is going to work. So one thing I might do is just check and see when I turn it over how much space is covering up my front frame. Okay, so I can see that it's a little bit more than I want, so I'm going to trim that down. And then let's look at the back frame. Oh, that worked out good because I actually didn't want to cover up the Black Lives Matter. Okay, so so I'm going to trim it a little bit on one side. And again, you can use a utility knife or you can use an X-Acto blade. Don't cut into your parents' nice desk. Please use a cutting pad, a piece of cardboard, something underneath there so that you're cutting into a soft surface. Oops, I'm just cutting in the ruler. All right. All right, so I trimmed that a little bit because it was a little bit wide on the side that has the front cover. So let's check it again. Make sure that's about right. Okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah, you kind of lose your frame there, and that's okay. I wish the construction paper was a little darker. It would kind of match the bookbinding. But what are you going to do? All right, so this is an important step. So at this point, before you finalize this, I'm going to put glue on all this. Think about putting a weight down, okay? It's nice to have something that's heavy and that will do the work. So I'm going to get that ready. So leave myself a little bit of a gap. Double check that my vote is still there. Okay, good. If you have a graphic image, anything with words, you always have to double check to make sure that that is the case. Okay, we got that in place. And then we're going to fold the top part of the bookbinding down inside. Try to get this nice and even. And again, you want about a 1/8 to 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch space in between. This allows it to open and close right there. Okay. Now it needs a little time to dry. And I'm going to put a metal weight on there for about 15 minutes to let it dry. All right, we are on the final video and we're going to be completing our notebook today, which, yay, very excited. So I have created the outside binding of the notebook. This is a hardcover book and I used matte board and there's a piece of book binding there. Made a collage for the back cover. Front cover, I've done a metal embossed design. It has a paper construction paper frame. And then the other part of the book is the insides, the front and back cover page. And then my papers in the inside for taking notes, drawing, etc. Okay, so we're going to glue this down. When you glue this down, you want to glue the paper to the cardboard. Do not glue the spine to the spine. It's a free-floating spine. So if you look at most books as they open and close, if they were glued together, if those spines were glued together, it's not going to open and close nicely. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put some glue. And I like to spread it thinly, but completely cover all the areas. Thin, but not too thin. Okay, so you want to just kind of create that little frame. And I'll do it twice just to make sure I get everything covered. Tend to do the front cover first. When you lay out your frame, you want to, and make sure if you had any notes, okay. Sometimes I've had students do these and they had notes, so they had to make front and back cover. I'm going to put this side on this side. So I want to lay this kind of in the center, and I want to make sure that the edges are neatly pressed in. Okay, so that's sort of the front cover. You can kind of get that nice feel of it. And it's nice at this point to put a weight or a book just for a couple of minutes, just to kind of get that set up. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back cover. And again, I'm just using like a popsicle stick, but you can use a piece of cardboard or something to spread it out. Make sure you cover all your spots there. I did a little better with the gluing this time. It looks like I might have enough there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take the weight off. Now, here's a little trick for you. When you put this page on, close the book a little bit. So you're about just, like a 45-degree angle there. Because you don't want it like super loose, but you don't want it super tight. So I'm going to move it over on this side. Glue that in. Again, use a book or a weight if you have one. And I put the tube of glue, I don't know if you can see that. I put the tube of glue under there just so it's like resting on that while it's drying up. Give that a few minutes and you are done. Congratulations, your notebook is done, and this is going to be a great resource that you're going to be able to use all year.